What a lineup. I've got them all spread out in front of me here. At the end of this film, several of those will be listed on Reverb for sale. This is what they call clownburst, or some people call it clownburst. I really think these pickups are great. I hope what's interesting is that you can hear differences. You listen to me, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? I don't. I think they all sound better than the Burstbuckers. You're all going to be in trouble. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So this week, it's all about single cuts. At long last, I'm going to do that comparison that I've been promising. I've got an enviable collection of Les Paul shaped guitars that I've seemed to have accumulated over the last year or so, in spite of me having previously said that I don't really like Les Pauls that much. I've got a load again. And a lot of them are you know, on the pricey side. The big guns of the single cut world, probably the most popular, I think. I've got 5 that I'm going to compare today. 5, I think they're the most popular. Obviously, there are others, but given that these guitars are all in the region of £2,000 each, I can't get them all. So I've stopped here, and what we're going to do today is we're going to compare the 5 that I have got. Let me show you what they are. Of course, it's the benchmark, isn't it? It's the Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. And this beautiful Japanese Tokai Love Rock. And we've got this fabulous curly maple Heritage H150 and the Maybach Leicester 58. And last but by no means least, it's the Eastman SB59V. What a lineup, eh? I'm thrilled to have been able to acquire those guitars for this film. And when I say acquire, I mean bought and paid for with my own money. I've been putting this film off because I'm well aware that after I've done this comparison, I'm going to have to let some of those go. I'm not sure how many, 2, maybe at least 2, maybe 3. So I guess this film's going to help me decide which ones. At the end of this film, several of those will be listed on Reverb for sale. Sadly, can't keep them all. But yeah, I've bhave putting off this film, so I've had a nice time to enjoy them all, and you know, when they go, I am a catch and release collector, definitely. I've decided and it helps if you can embrace that idea that you get a guitar, you enjoy it for a while, play it, you've done that, and then you can let it go and you can move on to something else and let somebody else enjoy it. And there's some fabulous guitars. Well, they're all fabulous guitars, to be honest with you. I shan't be trying to judge which is best. This will be very subjective. It will be what I like, what speaks to me. And I'll be keeping at least 2, the 2 that speak to me the most, I suppose. So I wonder what they will be. Now, each of those guitars I have reviewed individually on the channel. I'll put all the links in the description box, so you can, you know, go even deeper than we're going to do today. But we'll talk about each of those today. We'll go through the basic weights and measures, specs of each of those as well. We'll play them all. What I'm planning to do today, you know, I mean, I don't know how it's going to exactly end up, but the idea is I'm going to play each of those individually to start with and talk a little bit about how they feel. And then after that, we'll come back and we'll discuss, and we'll summarise, and I'll let you know which ones are going. As always, timestamps are in the description box as well, so you can skip backwards and forwards in this film, because there'll be a lot of, you know, that's that model, that's stuff, you know. So if there's something specifically you're interested in, you know, you can use the timestamps, or if you're bored already, just go up to the end of this film and find out which ones I'm selling. Don't treat yourself, chill out, go and make yourself a nice cup of tea, get some nibbles and come back and chill with us. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I reckon it might be up to an hour again, this film. That tends to be what's happening these days. There you go. Should we get on with it? Yeah, just get stuck in. We'll start with the Gibson. This is the Les Paul Standard 50s. It's the one everyone wants, isn't it? Current street price around 2,200 English pounds. It's got a mahogany body, of course, two-piece mahogany body of unspecified origin, mahogany neck, maple cap, nice flame maple cap, and obviously Gibson, famous for their nitrocellulose finish and sweet smell when they arrived. It's got nickel hardware, rosewood fingerboard, and burstbucker 1 and burstbucker 2 pickups. I was looking for a lightweight Les Paul, so I sought this one out. This weighs in at a wonderful 8 pounds 7 ounces, which is 3.82 kilos. Incidentally, before I started, I set all the pickup heights the same, and I've used the Gibson recommended heights with finger held on the last fret, the bridge pickup 1/16, and the neck pickup 3/64, and that's between the bottom of the string and the top of the pole piece. 1/16, 3/64, they're all the same. I'll do a little bit of, I'll try rolling off quickly in this bit as well. And I'll put the drive on. So I'd say this feels like a Gibson Les Paul. Got a nice neck on this. I'll put all of the neck measurements side by side on the screen later on when we come back so you can compare them all, okay? This is meant to be a 50s neck, but it's not. It's much thinner. You'll see that later, or check out the review in the description box. But that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's really lightweight, this one. It's great. What do I say about these Gibsons is they have a little bit of a sticky neck, which takes years to go. It's the nitrocellulose. But it feels, yeah, it feels okay, this one. It's not the most inspiring of these guitars to play for some reason. Unplugged, it sounds different to a lot of the other. And now I've said that, I'm going to have to show you, aren't I? It's kind of it's got a kind of a muted sort of sound. Does that make sense? Well, it's yeah, it's not, wow. Let's move on. And now on to the Tokai. This is a Love Rock model made in Japan. Model designation of this one is a ULS 129. Retails in the UK around about £1,599. There's some deals out there at the moment, so you can pick these up actually for as little as about £1,200 if you're lucky. Great guitar. It's got a two-piece mahogany body, mahogany neck, unspecified origin. It's got a maple cap, lovely plain top, rosewood fingerboard. This model's not the nitro finish. It's a very thin poly though, so it looks smart. This has got nickel hardware. This has got a Faber bridge and tailpiece on it, Tyco tuners, and Tokai proprietary pickups. These are called vintage PAFs, Mark IIs, I understand. This one weighs in £8 15 ounces, which is 4.07 kilograms. Unplugged. Feels a little bit more resonant than the Gibson. This really feels like a Gibson though. That's what I will say about this. It really just, it feels like a Gibson. The neck's fairly similar to that, I think. And it, although it's not nitro, it feels the same. Maybe a tad less sticky, but it's a nice guitar, this. And now onto the heritage. This is the H150, made in the original Gibson factory in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The current retail price of these in the UK is around about £2,500, so the most expensive guitar in this lineup. This is an older used one, I paid less than that. They're out there for around about 1,500-ish, I think you can pick these up for. This has got a one-piece mahogany body, mahogany neck, and they actually do specify genuine mahogany, that's what they say. It's got a maple cap, lovely curly maple flame on that, as you can see. Rosewood fingerboard, nitrocellulose finish on this. This one, as it's older, has got German Schaller hardware on it. Modern ones nowadays have got the standard Tune-o-matic and stop tail, I think you'll find. This has got Seymour Duncan 59 pickups in it. A little bit of a heavyweight, this one, 9.5 pounds, which is 4.24 kilos. Got a real snap to it, this, noticeably different to the others. And it's got that unplugged as well, that's interesting, isn't it? There you go. Nice, really nice to play. It's quite, I'm not sure you can tell by what I just played, but it's quite inspiring, this. It's got real big, chunky frets on this. Check out the individual reviews to get into that level of detail. Nice. And now on to the Maybach. This is the Leicester 58, made in the Czech Republic. Current price in the UK is around about 2,200 English pounds. Again, mahogany, two-piece mahogany back, mahogany neck, Not sure if they specify the origin. I think they say ethically sourced. Maple cap. What a look at this. I love the flame on this and the burst on this. And this is aged, fairly lightly aged. It's got a few ding marks around the edge. You'll either love it or you'll hate it. I love it. It's got an Indian rosewood fingerboard on this, and it's a nitrocellulose finish. It's got Japanese Goto hardware. It's got amber Spirit of 59 pickups. And this one weighs in, it's a lightweight. It's 8 pounds on the dot, which is 3.64 kilos. And unplugged. Again, it's got a nice snap to it. Feels really good. It's quite inspiring. This actually sounds. I think that now, where I am here, having just played those others, these pickups sound great. Neck's different. Neck's got a sort of a D shape to it. It's very chunky. Have a look at the specs later. As I've said before in the review, you'll either love it or hate it until you get used to it. And then, I mean, you know, it's like anything. If you play it a little bit, you get used to it pretty quick. Wonderful looking guitar, this. It's the Maybach. Finally, it's the Eastman. This is the SB59V. This is the least authentic Les Paul copy here, but it has to be included. Current street price around about 2,000, 2,100 English pounds. They're getting harder to find as Eastman are making less of this particular finish, which is the antique varnish. It's got a mahogany body, one-piece mahogany body on this, and a mahogany neck, And they do specify this is African mahogany or akume. Again, it's got a maple cap. Wonderful flame on this for my money. And this beautiful antique varnish finish, which is a hand applied, hand rubbed finish. And it's got a kind of an aging rubbed into it, which I love. It's got an ebony fingerboard, this as well. It's got aged Japanese hardware from Goto, and the pickups on this are custom wound by Lola. They're Lola Imperial custom wound pickups. Another lightweight guitar this. It weighs in at £7, 10 ounces, which is 3.46 kilos. Sounds good. Yeah, it doesn't disappoint. There you go. What a lineup. I've got them all spread out in front of me here. It's been interesting, this. Certainly playing them all, you know, back to back. There's more playing coming up when we get into it a little bit more. So really what I'm trying to do there is demonstrate the guitar, what the guitars sound like, rather than my playing ability. I think I did all right though. It's really hard to do it. It's hard demoing one guitar, let alone bloody 5 back to back. I think we've got there though. But this, wow, yeah. Do you know what? When I started this, I thought there would be clear losers. Not necessarily clear winner, but a clear, oh, it's not as good. I didn't really know which one I thought it would be. I don't think. But what I will say is, well, they're all bloody great. They're all great. They all sound great. We turn up the wicking a bit as well, and hopefully you'll see what I mean. And I get into it a little bit more as well. And obviously, demoing guitars is hard anyway, because so much of it is about the player. And as you can, I think, see on my face, if I show my face in that, I'm really kind of, I'm not really there. I'm just going, where's my pentatonics? Anyway, right, before we continue, let's have a look at some of the specs that I promised you. Here's all the neck profiles and measurements on the screen together. You might need to freeze frame that because there's a lot of data there. But that'll show you the variations. I think the Gibson, the Tokai and the Heritage are not dissimilar. The Maybach, definitely the chunkiest. The Eastman's quite different because it's got a nice V shape to it. And as far as the pickups go, here are the readings altogether on the screen now. All broadly similar and PAF-like readings, except for the Tokai, which were a lot higher, the readings. And I think you can hear that, but not in a bad way. So let's talk about each one a little bit more and hear them again. We'll start with the Gibson. What don't I like about the Gibson? Well, I've kind of got this thing about Gibson, a love-hate relationship with Gibson. I hate that I love them, really, because they do some stupid things. They do some stupid things, and they've turned into, I don't know what they've turned into. They're doing some weird things that us players don't really care about. We don't care about $10,000 limited edition collector's guitars because we can't afford them. So we're stuck with expensive standards, and this is okay, it's not expensive. It's a Gibson Les Paul standard, and it's not expensive for that. In this market, the street price is around about £2,200, and well, as you can see, all of these guitars are not far off that. Some of them more expensive. So I'm not going to complain about that. The point of that was that I have this kind of love-hate relationship with Gibson. Gibson's in my blood. I bought my first Gibson when I was about 19 years old, and I'm drawn to the brand. It's like catnip. And the thing about this Gibson Les Paul is you can't help congratulating yourself because you've got a Gibson Les Paul and feeling good about it. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But it's true. It's true of me anyway. I don't like the colour of this particular. I'm going to try and lift it up. I'm going to bang some others if I'm not careful. I don't like this is what they call clownburst, or some people call it clownburst, and you can see why, I think. It's very bright in some light. Some of the cameras, you know, when the light's not bouncing off it quite as much, show it as a darker burst, which I prefer. But, you know, sometimes it's very, very pink. And it's not very attractive. And I'll be honest with you, I had this at home, and it's been quite sunny this year in England for the summer. And every morning when the sun's come through the window, I've put it on the bed so that the sun beats down on it to try and bleach out some of the pinkness. I don't think it's worked. I don't think this particular finish fades like the old ones did. So I don't know. Am I going to sell this Gibson? I'm really on the fence about it. That one of the things that worries me is what the resale value is going to be. And I know people go on about, oh, buy a Gibson because your money's safe. Well, I don't agree with that, because, well, not if you buy new, which I did. I bought, you know, bearing in mind resale value is kind of all be relevant probably if you buy new. I bought this one new, so I'm going to lose money on it. So that'll enter the equation when we talk about whether or not I'm going to sell the Gibson or not. The Tokai. yeah, it's alive. That it surprised me playing it alongside these others. It's a slightly lesser model, although it's a Japanese Tokai. It's a slightly lesser model because it's not the nitrocellulose one, and that's always a bit. Oh, it's a shame. I wish it was a nitrocellulose one. But it's quite a big difference in cost. The nitro versions are more like £2,000, whereas this one, the retail on it is $1,599, and I got it a little bit cheaper than that. Not a great deal. I traded something for it, and I probably ended up paying around about $1,500 for it. So but it is on paper the cheapest guitar here, but it's very Gibson-like, and in fact, one of the two here that's got the proper historic bridge connection direct to the body without bushings, which is a really cool thing about this. And it really feels Gibson-like. The neck's really nice, sort of between a 50s and 60s, I think. Yeah, it's the real deal. Am I going to sell that one? It's definitely well, I was just going to say it's definitely in the firing line. Well, you know what? It was until just now, until I was listening to the playback. I don't know. I'm thinking, well, if I sell the Gibson, I can keep the Tokai. I'm definitely going to sell 3 of these, okay? What about the Heritage? It's a beaut, really. It's a bit hefty, but since I recently bought my Les Paul Custom, that you might have seen that on the bench here earlier. I just sort of put that on there to taunt you. That's back from a refret. We'll talk more about that another time. This one, but since I've got that and that's £10, I don't care anymore about weights. I'm a hypocrite. It's I don't know, it's real quality, this guitar. It sounds great. It's old. This is a used one, as you know. So I got a really good deal on this. I don't think there are many used Heritages on the market. So if you see one at a good price, you might want to snap it up. I love this guitar. I bought it, however, specifically with this comparison in mind. So I'll tell you now, I will be selling the Heritage. I just kind of, because I bought it, knowing that I couldn't really afford it and that after I'd done this, I'd be able to sell it again. I'd like to keep it. I really would like to keep it. But, you know, as I said, I'm a catch and release collector now. That's what I've called myself. It works because I can say, well, look, it's a beautiful guitar. It won't get played enough here. So somebody can go on Reverb and get that for a good enough price. I'm going to try and get my money back, that's for sure. It's great. This is my first experience with a proper Heritage ever, and it's lived up to all the hype, plaudits, definitely. So the only thing I will say is that new ones of these, they're a little bit on the pricey side, aren't they? Sort of $2.5 grand. So, you know, yeah. But yeah, I like it. I tell you what, I'm going to just throw in now. I've seen some of the custom core ones of these, and the Relicking. I'll be honest with you, I thought the Relicking was a bit pants. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Oh, I am, because I'm not sponsored by anyone. I thought the Relicking on the custom core Heritages, the ones that I saw, it weren't very convincing. Which segues nicely into that's the thing you ride on, isn't it? Anyway, that leads us nicely into the Eastman, not the Eastman, the Maybach. Getting confused. The Maybach, because this has got nice Relicking. I'm going to have to put it down because I'm going to break something if I'm not careful. The Maybach, I think the Relicking on this is really cool. Mostly on the edge, if you're watching Maybach, and funnily enough, I know you probably will be, the edge is a little bit uniform. Like it's, you know, what I would say about this, the dings on the edge, right? If you bang your guitar on something, you know, you probably go, oh, I'll be careful next time I'm near that door frame or table or whatever it is. You won't keep doing it. And it looks like someone's gone, oh, banged it on the table. Yeah. Oh, banged it on the table again. Oh, banged, you get the idea. So yeah, maybe a fewer or a different tool. playing this week has been a kind of an eye-opener because I've been unsure about this. I really like the look of it. I love the look of it. The neck, I've been unsure about because it's quite a different feel to, well, all of these others and a lot of my other guitars. I think it's got a lot of shoulder on that neck. So when you pick these Maybachs up, you're going to go, oh, that's different. I don't know if I like it or I love it. But spend a little bit of time with it and you'll love it. But sadly, I don't get enough time to spend enough time with any of my guitars, let alone this one, which again, I bought specifically for this review and comparison. So sadly, I'm going to let the Maybach go. But I have got a consolation prize, which is I've got another Maybach Leicester. This Black Velvet, remember? P90s, Bigsby. I'll be hanging on to this one for a bit. So yeah, Maybach, my summary sounds really good. I really think these pickups are great. I think you could hear that. I think you could hear that they were real, visceral, I wrote down. Pots, not so good, but they're aware of that. In fact, I know that they've changed the manufacturer. They were using CTS pots, but now they've changed that because these have been so inconsistent. And so there you go. And then that brings us to the Eastman, which I just don't see this as a Les Paul copy. I see it as an Eastman SB59. And the thing I love about Eastmans is they're just such high quality. All of the components are top class, the hardware, the pickups, and they're handmade, they're handcrafted. So a proper quality instrument, and really, it shouldn't really be in a lineup comparing it to Les Paul copies. Is it a good Les Paul copy? It's not. I don't think it's a Les Paul copy. Eastman owners will know what I'm talking about. I think it sounds great. I think the pickups sound great. I think it's got a slightly different sound to these. I think it's a little bit mellower, and it's got this amazing clarity. Listen to me, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? I don't. But to me, I can hear a mellowness and a clarity ringing out in the notes. And it's bloody comfortable. It's really comfortable. It plays really light. It's the lightest guitar here. And because of the unique varnish finish that comes looking a little bit aged already, and I've already obviously, you know, added my own mark to this guitar. Marks all over it, scratch it. It's very, you know, which I like. Look, that's a little bit greeny more, isn't it? So the Eastman's staying, okay? The Eastman's staying. I'm definitely selling the Heritage and I'm definitely selling the Maybach Leicester because I bought them knowing that I was going to have to sell them because I can't afford to keep them. These two have got to go. I'm keeping the Eastman. I can't decide now if I'm going to keep the Gibson or the Tokai. My thoughts about selling the Gibson are, if I sell that, that means that in the not too distant future, I've got an excuse to buy another Gibson Les Paul, maybe something different, maybe a deluxe, or maybe a custom shop if I could get one at the right price. And don't forget, I just recently bought this. No, the Holy Grail. So clearly this one's going to get played a lot more than that one. And the colour. But this is the best Les Paul standard I've ever had, and I like it. And it's lightweight, and it plays great, and it sounds great. I'll be honest with you, though. I think the burst buckers in the Gibson are the weakest pickups here, which kind of would make sense, really, because obviously you've got Seymour Duncans, you've got Lollas. Well, I didn't know if I rated Amber Spirit of 59 or the Tokai pickups until today, and I do. I think they sound great. I think they all sound better than the burst buckers. We're all going to be in trouble. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Have a good old listen to this stuff and see if you can dissect it. Because I think what's interesting, or I hope what's interesting, I shouldn't make assumptions, should I? I hope what's interesting is that you can hear differences. Bearing in mind it's all the same rig. The rig, incidentally, today was the Princeton 65 through the Ox attenuator. Here's a shot of the settings that I used on that. And the only pedal that I used today, when I clicked in the drive, and I showed you when that happened, was the Nobel's ODR1. And here's a picture of those settings as well for you. There you go. That was a bit more playing. I think we've had enough of all that now. And we'll have a little play out jam on something. And then go, reverb. Yeah, I know that I'm listing the Heritage and the Maybach on Reverb now. The link to my Reverb shop is in the description box, and I will pin it to the top of the comments. If they're still there, they're still for sale. I will ship worldwide, but it'll cost you. I'll put some vague postage shipping costs in the listing, but check with me. If you're seriously interested, if you want to buy one, but if you want to buy it seriously, I'll get a quote for you. But don't just for the sake of email me. It's like Reverb isn't a social media platform, right? It's a place to sell guitars. If you want to buy one, message me on there. Okay. If you want to talk to me, talk in the comments. That's where all that happens. I read all the comments and I quite often reply. So, or subscribe to the TV channel. There you go. There's a forum there. You get even more of my attention. So yeah, they're going on Reverb. They're live now. If you can see them, they're still for sale. If they're not, they're gone. And I've got to decide which of these two. And I'm going to try and decide tonight. So the listings will go live at 12 noon GMT +1 at the moment in the UK. And yeah, the listings will go live then. If you fancy one, buy it. They're all going to be what they are, by the way. I'm not going to clean, like, you know, it's got tarnishing on the pickups. I might give them a bit of wipe, actually. That came off quite easily. But they're what they are. You've seen them, you know. If you're thinking of buying one, check out the reviews and you get a real close-up look of what it is. So there you go. There you go. We did it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm not sure where. I might have next week off, okay? No, I'm not going to. No, fuck that. No, I'll be here. I'll be doing something next week, definitely. Same time, same place. Come and join us. See you then. All right, cheers. Ta-da.